It was just after midnight when Daniel saw her, standing at the edge of the gas station parking lot, hugging her backpack like it was the only thing she owned. The cold had turned her fingers red, and the fear in her eyes was the kind that didn't need words. He could tell something was wrong long before she tried to pretend everything was fine, that he didn't know her name. He didn't know her story. All he knew was that she looked trapped between danger behind her and nowhere safe in front of her. And when she finally whispered, "I just need somewhere safe to stay for the night," he had no idea that the promise he made would change both their lives. Before we begin, if you enjoy heartfelt, meaningful stories about kindness and humanity, make sure to subscribe to Tales River. Don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment about what kindness means to you. Your support helps us bring more stories like this to life. Daniel Lockwood was not the kind of man who expected himself to be a hero. 43 years old, divorced, no kids, working long shifts at an overnight warehouse, he lived a simple, quiet life in a small Ohio town. His friends knew him as the guy who'd help you move furniture, fix your car battery, or lend you a few dollars till payday. Nothing dramatic, nothing extraordinary. Just steady kindness. That night, after clocking out, he stopped for gas at one of those dimly lit stations that always felt like they had stories hiding in the shadows. He spotted her instantly, not because she was trying to stand out, but because she was trying so hard not to. She wore a gray hoodie, jeans torn not by fashion but by life. Her sneakers looked like they had walked too many miles. And her body was wrapped so tightly around her backpack that Daniel wondered if she was holding it together, or it was holding her. He turned off the pump and watched her for a moment, debating whether to say something. In today's world, people were afraid of strangers. But something in the way she kept glancing over her shoulder struck him as not just fear, but desperation. When he walked toward the convenience store entrance, she scooted back, as if making space for him. He smiled gently. "You doing okay?" he asked softly. She nodded too quickly, eyes darting away. "Yeah. Fine. Thank you." Her voice cracked. It was barely convincing. Daniel paused. "You sure? You look like you could use a warm drink." Her eyes flickered, hope mixed with suspicion. But she didn't run. That was something. Inside, he bought 2 hot chocolates. When he came back out, she was still there, arms wrapped around herself like a shield. He handed her the cup. "No strings attached. Just didn't want you freezing out here." She hesitated, then slowly reached for it. "Thank you," she murmured, looking up for the first time. Her eyes were tired, swollen from crying. He leaned against the wall a respectful distance away. "I'm Daniel." She swallowed. "I'm Emily." "That's a pretty name." She gave a tiny smile, the first hint of warmth he'd seen. Minutes passed before she spoke again. "I'm not from around here." "Figured," he said gently. "I left home." Her voice trembled. "I don't really have anywhere to stay tonight." Daniel nodded slowly. He didn't ask why she left. He didn't ask what happened. She looked like someone who wasn't ready for those questions yet. "Do you need a ride somewhere?" he offered. She shook her head vigorously. "No. No, I don't want to be a burden. I just need a safe place to sleep. Just one night. I swear I'll be out of your hair in the morning." Daniel took a deep breath. He knew what offering would mean. Responsibility. Trust. But he also knew what being stranded in the cold at midnight meant, too. "My place is about 10 minutes from here," he said slowly. "I've got a spare couch. It locks from the inside. Nobody will bother you. If you want, you can stay there for the night." Emily stared at him like she wasn't sure whether to trust him or run from him. But her trembling hands and chattering teeth told the truth. She didn't have options left. "Will you keep your word?" she whispered. "Yes," he said without hesitation. "I will." The drive was quiet. Emily held her cup with both hands, staring at the rain streaking across the window. Daniel didn't push. He just turned on the heater and kept his voice soft. When they arrived, he showed her the living room, handed her a blanket, and pointed to the bathroom. Everything he did was slow, deliberate, making sure she felt safe, not watched. "You can lock the door," he reminded her. "If you need anything, just knock. If not, I'll be up at 6 for work." Emily nodded, tears gathering again. "Thank you, Daniel. Really." "You're welcome," he said. "Get some rest." In the morning, Daniel found her standing in the kitchen doorway, clutching her backpack again. Her hair was brushed, her eyes clearer, but her posture remained apologetic. "Morning," he said, pouring himself coffee. "Sleep okay?" She nodded. "Yes. Better than I have in weeks." "That's good." She hesitated, then stepped closer. Daniel?" "Yeah. You said I could stay for one night. And you kept your word." She took a shaky breath. "But, will you still keep it, this morning? Can I stay, just a little longer?" "Not forever. Just until I figure out my next step." Daniel didn't answer right away. He'd assumed she would be gone by daylight. He wasn't planning on becoming anyone's guardian or savior. But standing there, looking at a young woman who had clearly lost so much, he realized kindness doesn't always follow your schedule. "Do you need breakfast?" he asked softly. She blinked, confused. Yes. But that's not what you can stay a while," he said, offering a small smile. "We'll figure it out. One day at a time." Emily exhaled like she'd been holding her breath since the moment he met her. Over the next few days, Daniel learned pieces of her story: broken family, a stepfather with a mean streak, a mom who chose the wrong side, and a life that had turned unsafe overnight. Emily hadn't planned to run, but one day, she simply couldn't stay. "I just thought if I got far enough away," she said one evening, "I could start over." But it turns out starting over is harder than running. Daniel wasn't a counselor. He wasn't a hero. But he could listen. And he did. He helped her file for a temporary job at the grocery store. He let her borrow his old laptop to apply for housing assistance. He taught her simple things like budgeting, cooking easy meals, fixing minor things around the house. Small lessons. Normal life. Stability, something she hadn't known in a long time, and Emily, for her part, was the definition of gratitude. She cleaned, helped around the house, cooked dinner when Daniel worked late. She didn't take anything for granted, not even a warm meal. One night, as they ate simple pasta at the table, Emily looked at him with gentle seriousness. "Why did you help me?" she asked. "You didn't know me. I could have been anyone." Daniel shrugged. "Because once, a long time ago, someone helped me when I didn't deserve it. It changed my life. I figured maybe, this was my turn." She smiled quietly. "Well, you changed mine." Weeks passed. Emily saved every dollar she earned. She walked to work even in the cold, refusing to be a burden. Daniel admired her resilience, the way she rebuilt herself piece by piece, refusing to let her past define her future. Then one Friday morning, she came into the kitchen with a letter in her hands. "I got approved," she said, voice trembling. "For the small apartment program. I got a place." Daniel smiled, proud but bittersweet. "The house would feel empty again." "That's amazing," he said warmly. "You earned it." She hugged the letter to her chest. "I move in next week. But before that, there's something I need to say." He looked up. "Thank you for keeping your word," she whispered. "Not just that first night, but every day after." Daniel felt a lump in his throat. "You kept your word too, Emily. You said you'd rebuild. And you did." She stepped forward and wrapped her arms around him. He froze for a moment, then gently hugged her back. "Not like a father. Not like a savior. Just two humans who crossed paths at the right time." A week later, Daniel helped her carry boxes into her tiny new studio. It wasn't much: bare walls, old carpeting, a window that stuck when you tried to open it. But Emily looked around like it was a palace. It's mine, she said softly. My safe place. Daniel nodded. You deserve it. Before he left, Emily stopped him at the door. You know, she said, I used to think kindness was something that happened in movies. Something rare. But then you showed me it's something people can choose. Every day. Daniel smiled. Kindness is free. Costs nothing. But it means everything. She brushed a tear from her cheek. I hope I can pass it on one day. You will, he said. I guarantee it. And as he walked away, he knew their paths had changed forever, not because of grand gestures, but because of one simple moment when someone chose compassion instead of looking away. Kindness doesn't always look like heroism. Sometimes it's a warm drink on a cold night, a safe couch, a gentle promise kept in the morning light. Sometimes it's choosing to believe in someone when they've forgotten how to believe in themselves. We may never know exactly how far a single act of kindness travels. But like Daniel and Emily, we can trust that it echoes, touching lives we never imagined, healing wounds we never saw, inspiring hope we never realized we sparked. So wherever you are, whatever you're going through, remember, kindness is a choice available to every one of us. And you never know, your kindness could be the moment that helps someone start again. Be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people.